Bad Batch Season 3 is heating up, and after Episode 5, I think we know where the future is headed. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. Bad Batch Season 3 Episode 5 has a little bit of a slower build to it. Everything is really good. We get some good character moments, especially with Crosshair.
Yeah, they're really building him out right now and getting him back to be part of the group.
Yes. And we're also seeing where the future of Bad Batch Season 3 is headed. Well, previous seasons, we kind of had like a broad stroke of what was going on. Obviously, with the first season, it was like finding out what was the purpose with Kamino, and then the ultimate destruction of that facility. And Season 2 was this dissolution of the clones and their place in the Empire. And now Season 3, we know where we're headed. Palpatine is huge, as is expected, but even deeper than this, and I think what we're going to see as we go deeper into the season, we're going to see more about the state of clones in Star Wars across the galaxy, but more specifically, this almost underground railroad system with the clones and trying to free them throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, I think we're going to get, well, with this episode, it seems very clear that we are getting kind of the biggest clone-freeing heist than maybe what you're suggesting. But I think it's definitely is all about that. It is about the clones getting out, being their own autonomous humans.
Well, I'm mostly thinking about like Commander Cody and him going MIA, and then Captain Rex and Echo and their whole crew.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they've really just touched on Echo. So we're definitely going to get more with Rex and Echo and their crew, just getting the clones free, getting them more autonomy, and just like, it's the Underground Railroad, as you're saying. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we're seeing more of like Senator Chuchi in there and like see what has become of their little group.
I think we're going to see these two timelines. We're going to see the big picture stuff with like the Bad Batch themselves. We're going to slowly see them work back together, recover from the loss of Tech, of course. They're still dealing with that grief. Yeah. And then also the renovation, I'm going to say, of Crosshair, because he's really struggling with what he's been through. He's had an identity crisis, and now he is back with his family that he feels really bad about betraying, but did his best to not, or at least to help them in some manner of fashion, especially with Omega. And I think we're going to slowly weave into this the story of Omega. Why is she so special? What are the key strengths that she has? How are we going to see that influence the future of cloning in Star Wars? How is Palpatine going to be in all of this? What is in this secret underground bunker part of Tantus? Apparently there are way more clones than they originally thought, and now we're going to see this deeper core, I expect, of what will eventually become the rebellion. We're going to have the clones as this like first example that will eventually build to what that we see in like Andor.
Ooh, I like that. So you're saying that these clones are going to do this big heist sort of thing to get all the clones out, and in this way of being against the Empire, it's kind of like starting or paving the way for the rebels.
Yes. Obviously, we know that they don't eventually accomplish a whole lot because we don't see many clones. Actually, we don't see any clones.
It's true.
For given reasons in like the original trilogy or even Rogue One. But my headcanon here, my theory, is that we're going to see the early stages of that. And in Rebels, we know that the core Rex crew, they end up as old dudes just chilling on their AT-AT or whatever.
Who can blame them?
No. Their transport, the clone transport. They end up there, but before they end up there and like seemingly give up on all life on in the galaxy, I think we're gonna see more pieces of what they were up to and what will eventually, maybe not directly become the rebellion, but inspire the rebellion in some manner of fashion.
I could see it. I definitely hope that they give us some kind of clue as to when they wrap all this up, the Bad Batch and whatnot, like that the end of Bad Batch will give us an idea as far as like what these clones were going to do.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. I think it's got to play a part. They've built it up so much just within these past few seasons. I mean, it's all about the clones, so we got to know what's in store for them after.
Yeah, and I expect that we're going to see what Captain Rex ends up doing.
Yeah.
Because we're getting Echo back into the story. We're seeing those pieces. I assume we're going to see something with Commander Cody. We have to see the move away from the clones, which we've already gotten pieces of.
Yeah.
We have to see that impact of the Empire across the whole galaxy on where pieces and characters and events happen. And I think this is the ultimate goal of Bad Batch Season 3, is to showcase how Palpatine is continuing his path into the galaxy. How is he keeping control of such a massive expanse of planets, people, and politics across the whole of the galaxy? We are seeing the beginning of the Empire as we know it in the original trilogy.
I'm definitely excited to see where Palpatine really gets into all of this. I definitely think, I mean, we've already seen him once.
Yeah, earlier than I thought we would.
Yeah. Considering he was mentioned soon, or showed up way before they even like all started talking about tech.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We see where our priorities are.
Yeah, if you asked me like what would be brought up first, Tech's death or Palpatine I would have said Tech's death.
Yeah. But I mean, fair enough. They need to get everybody out, or at least the key people out of Tantus to be able to come together and remember that. And then now we can move on.
Yeah. I mean, but on the note of Palpatine, we're also going to see Hemlock and his growth and progression into the galaxy with his cloning tech. And he obviously has bigger goals than just being on Tantus the entire time. He has big plans going forward on how he can leverage his connection with Palpatine to do something even bigger than is already happening. And then that's before we loop in all the possible Legends lore around Tantus. How this is a holding place for Palpatine's collections and his technology. Obviously, it's a research facility now.
Right.
I think there's a lot that's going to happen here, and a lot that's going to eventually influence what we see in the Mandoverse and how that's going to be going on.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see the foundations of what will ultimately lie underneath the surface through the whole of the original trilogy. And then once the rise of the First Order starts to begin, stuff with like Thrawn and the ghost of Palpatine almost.
Yeah.
All of these different pieces I think we're going to see be brought up with Thrawn's story.
We were kind of mentioning this while watching the episode. We were like, we were just mentioning about the zombies.
Yes.
And it does always seem like Bad Batch has these themes that often play into the bigger scale of what's going on. So I'm always fascinated. I'm always keeping my eye out for kind of something that might tell tale of what's going on in like Mandoverse or wherever else is coming.
Yeah, you can really tell the future of what the live action direction is going to be with the animated stuff. Because obviously they're working with its different teams. Dave Filoni is, I think, an executive producer or part of the show in some manner or fashion. So clearly he's got some ideas floating around. And if you look at Mando Season 3 and Bad Batch Season 2, there's some clear correlations. Which during that whole thing where they had the slight overlay with the two episodes launching on the same day.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times where we were both scratching our heads of like, this is so similar.
Yeah, were they talking to each other when they were making these things? Because...
yeah, there's a lot there. But I think with Bad Batch Season 3 and Episode 5 in particular, we're now seeing the three paths that will follow in the rest of the season. Because we've only got 10 episodes left.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the Bad Batch crew plan some of the bigger piece stuff. We're going to see Rex's crew with Echo and all of them work behind the scenes and with Senator Chuchi, I imagine, or at least have the Coruscant angle.
Yep.
And then we're also going to see Hemlock and Palpatine's story and that subplot. So I think these are the three pieces that we're going to see going forward.
Ooh, I'm excited. I'm especially excited for the Hemlock
Yes.
And Palpatine. I'm very curious because Hemlock seems to have something personal going on in here.
Yes.
Especially with him holding his hand all the time.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, there's something happened here that he needs to like get something's going on here.
Yes, there is definitely something with him as a character, for sure.
I'm excited.
But let us know your thoughts of our theory today. Do you think it's accurate on the future of Bad Batch and where we're headed? Let us know in the comments below and check out our podcast. As always, may the Force be with you.